What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome along to episode number 36 of the F1 Ultimate Career Series for the start of season number 3. If you guys did miss any of the last two seasons, make sure to go check those out before you see this video, and as always, make sure to get subscribed for more future F1 content as the series continues on. So, the 2021 season is now over and our time at Red Bull draws to a close. Of course, we'll have a look over the rest of the entire season as a whole in terms of results. Raikkonen obviously retiring from Formula 1 at the end of last season. Of course, we've had some changes in the lineups going into 2022. Of course, I posted a pre-season video just yesterday, so make sure to go check that one out if you haven't already. We ended the season top of the R&D charts, but unfortunately, that is not the chart that matters. Our power unit was completely destroyed over the course of the season. Look at that, 6 turbochargers over the course of the season. 3 of them all conked out at some different points during the year. Verstappen is there, no longer our teammate, and of course Hamilton did win the Drivers' Championship by 28 points over Verstappen, who remains a 0-time world champion. We finished 4th in the end as 4 retirements across the season, really costing us those races being in Portugal, as well as in Belgium, in Monza, and of course in Saudi Arabia, and of course the crash in Australia, which was obviously the last straw at Red Bull, so they decided to drop us at the end of the campaign. We'll have a look at our full stats across the season as a whole here. Of course, victories or 3 wins across the season, 1 at Bahrain, 1 in France, and of course the last one we took in Brazil. There are our stats for the entire season, 170 points. It's a decent return. Me personally, I think we're going to 2022 very satisfied with how the season at Red Bull went, but of course it is now time to move on to pastures new, and of course time to move on to F1 22. Of course, for those of you who remember, that this is where we did the original Road to GOAT save, first at Williams and then at Alpine. Of course, tried to continue that on to F1 23, but wasn't to be in the end. F1 23, things have got a lot going on for me at the time, but customizing our driver, as always, those of you who have obviously been here for a while have seen me doing this before countless times as we make our way through all the different, obviously, the menus. Truthfully, I'm excited, but I'm also a little bit nervous for this one, because while I did enjoy making content on F1 22 back in the day, at that point I was running more assists at the time, so perhaps the glaring issues with the game weren't as apparent while I was driving, but since then I've turned some of those off or down, and as a result I feel like I have to get to grips with the game a little bit more. I can actually get to see some of those issues that people were dealing with. And also, on that, truthfully, this video took 2 attempts to make, because I did the first race, the first time and it crashed. So, moving on from creating our driver, of course, I have to move on to all the settings for the season. And from there, we'll obviously make our custom schedule of 16 rounds, which is all set up here. So Bahrain will open the season as it did in real life, and we're on to Saudi Arabia, then to Australia, of course, the modified Australia. Imola will host the first sprint race for the first Grand Prix in Miami before returning to Spain. Monaco being skipped off this season, going to Canada next, then our home Grand Prix at Silverstone, then to Austria for our second sprint race. Hungary round 10 and Belgium. Netherlands returns to the calendar. Monza as always, no Singapore, no Japan. Kota back on the schedule, no Mexico, a sprint race in Brazil, and finally the finale in Abu Dhabi to cap us all off. And there it is, our challenger for the season. There it is, the Mercedes W13. Looking forward to driving this thing, of course. They're very different design in terms of the lack of side pods over the course of the season. Hopefully that shouldn't hamper us too much. But in terms of R&D, obviously we'll start a bit behind in terms of starting spot there, because obviously Red Bull and Ferrari were by and away the fastest cars. But we'll make a few upgrades here. Upgrades costing a fair bit less than I remember them doing at the start of the series. But we'll take full advantage of that. There's about 5 different upgrades all on the board already. And that helps us try and close the gap. Alfa Romeo there in 4th. After testing, so clearly the order's going to shake up a little bit in this first race, but Red Bull and Ferrari are the teams to beat, and obviously we'll probably spend the season trying to bridge the gap to those 2 teams. Look at that, it's quite a gap to bridge, but we'll do the best we can upgrade-wise, and we'll push on. The driver perk, of course, I've got to fill in one of those. One of them has been dropped off this season, so we're now only got social media team, power mapping, and development feedback. We'll go for power mapping, because obviously I don't want to go through the same thing we did last season in terms of all those different engine retirements. We're trying to avoid that as much as we can, as that obviously plagued our championship chances last season. But it's time for a new season, so we'll start fresh here. It's time to jump into the first race weekend of the season in Bahrain. Let's do this then. First qualifying session of the season and the first real test to see where we stack up compared to the cars around us. We set up to gear out onto the racetrack in our W13 for the first time here in Bahrain. Of course, let's try and get to grips with the game as quickly as we can here. I ran a few practice laps in the practice sessions to obviously try and get back to grips with it, but still a bit of work to do, so I imagine I won't be too comfortable for this first race, but we'll lean back in, we'll get back into it, and as the races go by we should find ourselves getting more and more comfortable with this game. So going down towards turn 4 on our outlap here and coming off of turn number 15 to start our first flying lap of the season, and charging down towards turn number 1, long DRS straight, of course, obviously one of the prime opportunities to overtake. Of course, we know also well about that, being the defending winners of this race last season with Red Bull. Into turn 1, then braking around the 100-meter board, going into that first right hand. Want to try and get as close as we can to that curb while staying off of it. But going through turn 2 now, using that curb fully, and going through turn 3, keeping these nice under control here onto the DRS straight. Once again, going down towards turn number 4 as we near the end of the first sector here. Looking for about 28-29 second sector. If we can nail things here off of turn 4 and down towards 5 and 6 now. Hit the first split, it'll be a 29.085. So a decent start. Obviously some time still to be gained as always, but we'll always set the bank a lap first and see what improvements we can make potentially on a second set of tyres. But P2 on the board, about a second down from Perez, and Sainz goes faster than that, 129.7. So not a fantastic start compared to the cars around us, 1 minute 30.8 on the board. So we'll go on to our second set of soft tyres and go for a run mid-session. We're P8 right now. Bottas and Ricciardo crucially there in front of us. So two drivers we want to try and be beating over the course of the season. They're definitely drivers we want to try and stay in front of as we continue on here. So we'll accelerate time and we'll give it a few minutes, and we'll set back out on the racetrack for our first lap. It's currently Leclerc and Verstappen, the two fastest cars, which is to be expected at this early stage of the season. But we'll put onto our soft tyres as we've already done and go back onto the racetrack again. But on our second lap, improving by about half a second or so as we enter the last sector, going towards turns 14 and 15 for the second time here. We're at 6/10 up. We're down to P15 right now, so that first lap was definitely a poorer one than I thought. But going through the last two corners here, keeping the car nice and steady. Want to try and avoid losing the rear end on corner exit. We're coming up towards the line, so a much better lap here. Where does that put us? 7/10 up, puts us into P6. So not too bad there, more or less where we expect to be in terms of performance going back towards turn 1. And we'll put on our last set tyres. I feel like we're trying to get a bit more improvement. Verstappen is still on pole, Leclerc second, and our teammate Hamilton in third. Then it's Sainz, Perez, and then Norris in 6th as we come to the last bit of the session, and we sit in 7th place. Norris did actually jump us on this last lap. But coming through the last couple of corners here, not improving by too much. I think we must have squeezed all the time we could out of that the second run. So we've come through the last two corners to complete our qualifying efforts here. It looks to be P7 on the grid, no improvements in the last corner, so we'll be down on our previous effort coming towards the line. P7, honestly, given it's the first race back on the game, I'm satisfied with that. Hopefully, we still try and build up during the Grand Prix and from there try and fight for perhaps podium place to get up alongside Hamilton.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who'll be fronting the grid. Sainz, Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So Sainz and Leclerc lock out the front row for Ferrari. Hamilton third, it's Verstappen, Perez, Norris, and then myself in P7. Joe in P8, so look out for the Alfa Romeos over the course of the Grand Prix. But it's time now to jump into the race and get the new generation of Formula 1 underway.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best, of course, at turn 1, and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into that tight left-hander of turn 10. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Norris, Cohen, Joe, Fernando Alonso, and Mick Schumacher, Ricciardo, Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Magnussen, Bottas, Gasly, Alex Albon, and Lance Stroll, Vettel, and Nicholas Latifi. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. So here we are in 2022 at the start of another Formula 1 World Championship. It all begins here, the start of the next generation of Formula 1. With the end of the second turbocharged era, a new dawn begins. New regulations have been brought in to promote better racing, with the two big standout changes being the wheel size increase and the aerodynamics on the car itself. But will this result in us having a repeat fight for the Driver Championship? Will Mercedes retain their Constructors' title? We have lots to discuss then with Anthony Davidson, who's joined me in the commentary box for today's event.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Let's hope for some good racing today as well. We can't know at this point how competitive the teams are relative to each other, but hopefully nobody's able to run and hide. We want to see these drivers pushing to the limit all the way to the checkered flag.
So here we go then, no more talking, time for action. Down the grid for the 2022 Bahrain Grand Prix from P7 on the grid, our first race for Mercedes and our first race with the brand new regulations. So in terms of strategy for the race then, you obviously use our set of soft tyres, just a one stop in this Grand Prix. We've got free choice now, thanks to the rule change. Top 10 drivers can now choose what tyre they start on. So on the mediums to start with, and the hards to check a flag, and let's do this thing, let's get this underway.
So as the formation lap gets underway here for the first time this season, each driver will be wanting to make an impactful start to their season by earning those crucial points and getting a confidence booster right from the off.
So in terms of starting tyres then, is everyone on the mediums except for the two Aston Martins, so we've gone hard tyres to start with, so looking at a longer first in.
We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Coming out now to the starting grid for P7, you can see quite a different helmet design against the last couple of seasons. The blue and yellow is still present, just there on the back instead. But coming out now to the starting grid, this is where it all comes down to business. Norris there in front of us, Perez directly ahead. Zhou on our right, making his F1 debut, the first full-time Chinese driver in the sport and looking to make an impact right from go here. And it's the Ferraris who look out the front row of the grid. The signs on pole, Leclerc alongside him. The Red Bulls and Mercedes will be hunting those two cars down over the course of the Grand Prix. Everyone's lined up to get a brand new season and a new era of Formula 1 underway. The lights are coming on here in Bahrain for the first race of 2022, and Season 3 of Ultimate Career is underway. Lights out, foot to the floor. Go, go, go. Zhou gets a good start to right there. Alonso might try on the left going towards turn 1. Zhou clears us. Going to go to the inside going towards this first corner. Got a car on the inside. That's Mick Schumacher in the Haas. The sophomore out of nowhere into turn 1. Shades of his father. Schumacher on the inside at turn 1. Takes several places there. Passing Zhou on corner exit. Passing Norris. Passing Schumacher 2 on the right. Up into P6 now. So down 2 places to up 1 in the first couple of corners. So a chaotic start here. Down the inside of Perez. Looking for P5 2. Sainz leads the way. Leclerc second. Verstappen third. Hamilton fourth. And we fight Perez for the last spot in the top 5 going towards turns 5 and now 6 on the inside of Perez. That'll be the outside for turn number 7 here. He's trying to get around the outside of the Mexican, making his return to Formula 1 on the inside of him going through towards number 8. And that is P5 secure. So that's 2 places up on the start, so not too bad to get away at all here. Pushing on further towards the end of the first lap, Lewis Hamilton, our teammate, now the reigning world champion, is our next target on the run down towards turn number 14. Our first wheel-to-wheel fight with our new teammate. Going to go to the outside of the racetrack if we can. Hamilton trying to cover us off here, going into the last 2 corners around the outside. Got the preferred line, bit over the curbs there, but taking the place away. And that is 4th place now to start this season off. So you had again, lap number 2 of this thing. Sainz leading away. Verstappen still second. Leclerc is in third. Perez and Hamilton dueling behind us, going towards turn 1. We'll lead them to it now. And our job from here will be to try and chase down the 3 leaders, in particular Leclerc and Verstappen next in front as we push on now to lap number 4 of this Grand Prix. Those 3 are pulling away by quite a margin. Leclerc 2.5 seconds in front and out of DRS range now. So Perez and Hamilton have got full orders to attack, going down towards turns 9 and 10, looking to try and avoid that curve, which can spin you out if you're not careful on corner entry. Perez right behind us now, going down towards turn 11. DRS is in play for one of the first few times in this Grand Prix. Perez closing in here. We're going to try and put the inside of the racetrack, going towards the left-hander. We're trying to outbrake him on the way into the entry point. And on corner exit, going around the outside and maintaining our place. The inside, not the place to be on corner exit. There's got up through the gears again towards turn 12. So keeping things under control. We're on to lap 6. Perez still giving us pressure. Hamilton not too far behind either, but the 3 leaders are pulling away by still quite a margin here to come towards the last 2 corners once again. And Perez will have DRS down the main straight, going towards turn 1. Bit wide there on corner exit. Perez will take advantage of that. Down the main straight here. DRS is in play. Perez is already side by side with us, going towards turn 1 here. Over the lines begin lap number 7 of this race. Perez on the inside takes away the place, and Hamilton is chasing us too. And you can see Lando Norris not too far back there in 7th place right now, but it's P4 for Perez, P5 for us, and this fighting will not help our case in terms of chasing the top 3 down, who continue to extend their lead. We'll have to try to hunt Perez back down here. DRS in play on the run down towards turn 4, but I think he's just out too far out in front for the minute for us to try and make a move to make our way down towards the braking zone once again, but keeping Hamilton at bay crucially. We'll have to try and get Perez back, but that Red Bull a lot faster than our Mercedes. He's pushed on a couple of laps later now onto lap 10. Perez 1.8 in front of us and leaving us to deal with Hamilton right behind. Not a good start to our career at Mercedes, having to defend from who is only the reigning 7-time world champion in Hamilton. So going down towards turn 11 once again. Hamilton now to the inside of the racetrack, looking for 5th place off of us into the braking zone. He's there first to the apex, but he's on the inside, goes over that curve too much. We'll take full advantage of that, go sliding around the outside again and hold on to P5 only just. But Lewis is going to keep us under constant pressure to keep us on our toes, as he did all of last season at Mercedes and we were at Red Bull. Going down towards turn number 4 now on lap 11, continuing to hold him off. Perez continues to pull away, but the top 3 are still, as it stands, in front. They're seeing yellow flags around the circuit. Not quite sure what's going on. Looks a bit like a car in front of us. Might be one of the lead cars. As you come through turn number 7, it's Verstappen who's got a problem. And he's lost his front wing. What's happened to Max Verstappen? Safety car is out for some reason. I mean, he's still going. The car's fine. He's just got to repair that wing is all. But he must have spun out and hit one of the barriers. Have to have a look at what actually happened to him. But on lap 11, the safety car has been deployed for the first time this season. I'd say now, honestly, as good a time as ever to come in for our first pit stop and only pit stop of this Grand Prix. A few laps earlier than we might have anticipated. We're going on to the hard tyres, and of course, the first use of the immersive pit stop here. So, optimal turning out to try and time it perfectly there. 2.2 second pit stop to a 2.5 second pit stop gives us a range there. 2.4, but stopped a little bit there waiting for Norris to come in. And of course, we were close to being held up by the 2 Red Bulls. Verstappen and Perez double stacked. Verstappen there behind, having to change his wing, but we luckily avoided that. My question now is, what actually happened to Verstappen? Because that's a rare mistake for him to make. Of course, we saw as a teammate how strong he was last season. So going through towards turn 6, just loses the back end of the car, and it switches as the camera switches as he goes through, and I assume hits the wall. So we'll look at it from the T-pod angle as Leclerc and Sainz go through. Of course, Sainz still in the lead. Going through turn 6 again, Verstappen loses the back end and spins all the way off past the gravel and hits that outside barrier. So wing is gone on that race car, and you'll see us come through. There's Perez going through, sorry. And the two Mercedes, myself and Hamilton, will come through just in the mirrors there. Obviously had to back up to avoid an illegal overtake on Verstappen. But there we go then. So Verstappen gets the wing repair. He's down to 7th place though. But the top 5 as it stands is Sainz leading, Leclerc 2nd. So still 1-2 for Ferrari. Perez 3rd, myself in 4th. And Norris in 5th. And it's Hamilton, Verstappen, Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, and Guan Yu Zhou still in the top 10s. Could be on course potentially for some points on his debut here as he make our way through the AI return control under the safety car using the broadcast safety car feature for this season to come through the last couple of corners here to get this restart back underway. Sainz and Leclerc have dominated this Grand Prix so far, despite Verstappen's challenge earlier on. We could see him later on this Grand Prix. He comes to the last corner, and safety car is coming through to lead, go back onto pit road. Sainz will lead us back away to the restart. Leclerc 2nd, Perez 3rd. We'll get right to work here, trying to make a move on the Mexican going towards turn 1. Green flag goes back in the air. He charged down towards turn 1 on lap 15 in this Grand Prix. Halfway still to go in this race. Down the inside of Perez at the first corner. Can we make that move stick going into the braking zone of turn 1 into the right hander here? He's still on our left hand side going through turn 2. We'll squeeze him onto the curbs as we can, and on corner exit, passing him on the inside there. Leclerc and Sainz 1-2. Sainz still showing the way. Perez the inside now, trying to come back at us going towards turn 4 on the inside, making his move. We'll try and outbrake him though. We will outbrake him and maintain 3rd place now. So we've actually done quite well out of the safety car. We've got gained 2 places here, one from Verstappen, one from Perez, and Norris there in P4 now. Lando's also gained from this situation, but onto lap 20 though, the 2 Ferraris continue to extend their lead a lot faster than our Mercedes, and Perez is still right on our tail. Hamilton's broken away from the train, he's now 2.4 behind us. Nick Verstappen's starting to break away too as Perez tries to go around the outside there, trying something a bit different there for the left-hander. It's the Mexican on corner exit, but jumping on our tail once again, and DRS in deployment going down towards turn 11 once more. Perez closes in, goes to the inside, pulls alongside us. Can he go ahead into the braking zone? He's about half car length in front, first to the apex, but again we'll leave him on the inside, and he falls away on corner exit, going up the gears again through 11 and up towards the right-hander of 12. So keeping things under control for now. On the end lap number 20 though, a few corners later, Perez gets right back to work though. DRS is in play, down the main straight once more, and Perez, this time we're a sitting duck against him, going down towards turn 1. Perez takes P3 away, and Hamilton not too far back either, going towards that first corner. So Perez into 3rd place, of course, trying to get back with DRS, but I think that Red Bull might be a bit too strong for us at this stage of the Grand Prix. Our hard tyres starting to fall away a little bit here to make our way through turns 2 and 3, and DRS once again, for us in this case, Perez is gone, and Hamilton's closing in at this point, so we have to start focusing behind us on how close our teammate gets, and Verstappen has broken away from Norris and Zhou now, and is currently sitting in the 6th position, 2.5 behind us. On to lap 23, Perez 1.5 seconds in front, Hamilton still closing. Lando Norris goes out the race. He was having such a good Grand Prix. What's happened to Lando there late on in this thing? Only just about 7 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Norris was leading the train with Zhou and the 2 Haas cars, Magnussen, Schumacher in behind. Magnussen doing a fantastic job on his return to F1 as well. Going through turns 9 and 10, then Norris has had something go horribly wrong on his McLaren. He runs wide there. I'm not sure if he gets any sort of damage. Could be floor damage. I'm not too sure in terms of what's actually happened to that McLaren. But if there's no smoke, which normally implies something going inside the car, but Norris pulling it over, then Zhou goes through, then Schumacher and Magnussen, and Ricciardo will be looking to try and nab the last point to avenge his teammate with that train not too far behind him too. But Norris, who was having such a good day and was promising some good result, is out unfortunately. So down to 19 cars, then on to lap 24. Hamilton closing in on us now to the outside, going towards the braking zone side by side with our teammate once more into this first corner. On corner exit, he's still alongside us there. We didn't get DRS, he got it. We'll make our way through turn 2 though. Hamilton goes over the curb, falls away, and we'll hang on to P4 for now, but don't count Lewis out just yet. He's still got plenty of time to make that move, and Verstappen is closing in too. A couple corners later, though, going through turns 9 and 10, Verstappen has fully joined the party. He's close behind Hamilton, sliding off at the corner, and that could be crucial for us. Verstappen passes Hamilton on corner exit, and he did run wide. I'm not quite sure what happened to Lewis, but Max is here. He's going to the right-hand side. There goes our former teammate on the outside, going down towards turn number 11. We can race him a bit harder now, knowing that we're not on the same team, going up through the gears again towards turn 11 and now 12. Verstappen on our inside, though, through the sweeping right-hander. Will not give an inch at this point of the Grand Prix. On the outside, we are going in towards turn 13 now, trying to clear him on corner exit around the outside. We'll do just that, and Hamilton might try and make a move as well on trying to counter that as he pushed onto lap 26 now. Hamilton now in 5th place to come through turn 13 again. Problem on the rear wing. What's happening here? That light is red and the DRS flap is not open. And that is the worst thing that could have happened at this stage of the Grand Prix, short of retiring. And now we've got to keep our way, Hamilton and Verstappen, in these closing stages. But luckily, they've held each other up by fighting off of the last corner. The two former title rivals are currently benefiting us right now. And now there's only 3 laps to go here in Bahrain. Verstappen and Hamilton fighting behind us. A second out of DRS range at this point, but they'll catch up as we push now on towards the end of lap 28 and pushing on towards the final lap of this Bahrain Grand Prix. Sainz is on for an easy win. Leclerc set to make it a 1-2 for Ferrari to kick off the new era of Formula 1. Verstappen is on our tail though, going towards turn 1. We've got no DRS to counter. Should he get past us now? Bell lap now, 1 to go here in Bahrain. Verstappen closing the gap, going up towards turn number 1. Going to force him to the outside of the racetrack. He clears us going towards that first corner. We dive back to his insides, trying to ensure we stay in the fight. We'll be behind him at the detection point, won't get DRS because of our wing being shut. That's a force Verstappen onto the curbs, racing as hard as we can here. And Hamilton might try and take advantage of that. Hamilton might make his move, going towards turn 4. There he goes, making his move, trying to challenge Verstappen now. Like, that would be perfect for us, as those two will squabble once again, and we'll try and get as much time as we can off of that, but they'll keep right on us here in DRS range, going towards turn 11 for the last time. But up front, Carlos Sainz is leading the way on for his first career victory in Formula 1. Leclerc has been chasing him these closing laps. Those two have likely held position. Ferrari will emerge victorious in the new era of Formula 1. Carlos Sainz wins the Bahrain Grand Prix, his first career victory in Formula 1 and in the Ultimate Career Series. The Tifosi will be wild back in Maranello. It's a fantastic victory to start off this new season. But in terms of us, we're still holding off P4 from both Verstappen and Hamilton here to go up through towards the last sector one final time. Verstappen on our outside. We're trying to cover him off our line, slightly going through turn 12 to make it up towards 13 here. Sainz across the line. We've got a bit wide there into the left, into the right hand. Verstappen takes his chance. He sees P4 at the death here. We're still side by side and going down towards the last corners here. Verstappen gets in front of us, and that could be all we've got left. The hard tyres are destroyed. The DRS flap is stuck shut. No chance of a photo finish here. Contact with Verstappen though. A bit of a poor run in the last corner, but he seized the place at the death of this Grand Prix. And in the end, we'll run to the line. It will be P5 for us on debut for Mercedes. Verstappen only just gets us right at the very end of the race. Hamilton finishing in P6 behind us. We've managed to beat our teammate in our first Grand Prix for Mercedes. This is more or less where I expected us to be. I was a bit worried about after qualifying. Latifi driver of the day. Okay, well, I mean, that's obviously a glitch, but still, P5 for us.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Fermé after a fantastic race. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
So Carlos Sainz then is the first winner of 2022. He wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Leclerc second, and Sergio Perez caps off the day with a third place finish. Of course, we fought him earlier on the Grand Prix. Still lost no speed in that year out. He's back in Formula 1 and likely here to stay. So the celebrations begin for Ferrari. So a fantastic Grand Prix. No one was really catching them today, and that'll be a perfect start for them in terms of the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships. Let's have a look at the final results and see how the table stacks up early on after that fascinating race in Bahrain.
Let's have a look then at the driver's standings. And with his performance today, Carlos Sainz assumes the top spot in the championship standings. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Nicholas Latifi gets my vote today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari take the lead at the top of the table. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
The rest of the top 10 then, Verstappen finishes in 4th place, only just over us. We finished P5, Hamilton P6. Guan Yu Zhou scores 6 points on debut in Formula 1. Schumacher finishes 8th, his first points finish in F1 too. Magnussen takes P9 in his return, and Daniel Ricciardo avenges Lando Norris and takes 1 point home from McLaren over Valtteri Bottas, who of course his first race for Alfa Romeo, unfortunately not going to plan as he's beaten by his rookie teammate. There's the championship standings then. Sainz leads by 7 over Leclerc, Perez in 3rd, Verstappen 4th, we finish in 5th. It's the same as the top 10. With, of course, Perez taking the point for fastest lap. Ferrari then lead by 15 points over Red Bull. We sit now in 3rd place in the Constructors after Verstappen narrowly got us there. Alfa Romeo, Haas and McLaren also scoring. Alpine, AlphaTauri, Williams and Aston Martin failing to score. But guys, that'll do it for this first episode of F1 Ultimate Career Season 3. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more future F1 content. And an absolutely fantastic day. And I shall see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.